We're ready to put the green flag in the air and go road course racing. The Toyota Save Mark 350 underway at Sonoma.
It's close. Menard almost took a few guys out there, but very, very good through. Usually we see a lot of carnage here in this first lap in this first corner, but everybody so far got through clean.
Yeah, good job. I thought Menard was going to give Jamie room to get in line, and at the last minute he stuck his nose up in there.
Down into turn 4 for the first time this afternoon. Clean for the first 5 or 6, and then they go double file.
And this is the best the track is going to be and the best the tires are going to be. So it's going to be, it gets more and more difficult on these double file restarts as we go on today.
Yeah, and we'll add, this is the calmest the drivers are going to be.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A little antsy to get up there, don't get me wrong, but nobody's made them mad so far.
Joey Logano sorts out as the race leader. Right behind him, McMurray, Hamlin, and Newman, the top 4. Into turn 11 for the first time under green.
See Jeff Gordon down there trying to make a move on Montoya. And this is the part of the racetrack. If you can be on somebody's right going up the hill, if you can hang there, it puts you in a good position in the right-hander at the top of the hill. It's awfully slippery out there.
It really is it's slick. It's incredibly slippery, incredibly slick. And you mentioned it yesterday when we were doing the qualifying shows. This racetrack, when you go through that corner and when you go through the last corner right before you get to 10, it becomes a one-groove racetrack. You can't go through there too wide. You can go through there maybe 1.5 wide. So it takes that zone away from you a little bit the longer the race goes.
Exactly. If you're going to do it early.
You constantly, as a driver here, Wally, got to be thinking about what the next step is. If you're working on what you're doing right now, you're not going to get where you need to be. That turn 7 right there. And turn 7 critical because it sets up all the speed downhill through the S's.
Yeah, and what you're trying to do on this point, I mean, this is basically, most of this is all follow the leader. What you want to do is try to get as close to somebody's rear bumper through this section. So when you come out and you make this next little right-hander, you've got somebody set up. We got a guy dropping some wheels off. You got a guy set up here, like the 2-car Keselowski. That's perfect. He was on the guy's bumper. Now you can try to outbrake somebody going down into this right-hander.
That's Keselowski inside of Martin Truex Jr. to grab the 15th position. Kyle Busch lurking behind.
And Wally described that perfect. That was a textbook move. He set him up. That pass happened 3 corners before they ever got to that corner.
You're basically using the whole S's to just try to get as close to somebody as you can.
Brad Keselowski quickest here yesterday in final practice. As we pointed out, he got around Truex for the 15th spot, and his teammate looking pretty good early as well. Kurt Busch running 7th right now. Logano started on the pole and has led the first couple of laps. That's Logano leading, McMurray right behind, Denny Hamlin there in 3rd, and here's a pass for position. The aforementioned Kurt Busch inside of Paul Menard in turn 7.
Yeah, and it's just like, you know, the pit reporters said as they went around the track at the beginning of the show and showed the passing zones. Everywhere that our guys showed where there's a passing zone, we've almost seen a pass in almost every one of those zones so far.
And I want to go back to a little bit what we were talking about on setups. Kurt Busch's car, he, in my opinion, yesterday in practice, was the best car that had a stiff, what I thought had a really stiff and rigid setup. So it's going to be interesting to see how his car works further into these runs.
Here's Denny Hamlin working over Jamie McMurray for the runner-up position.
And to get back with that, I think you're better in the first 5 laps with the stiffer setup, but it's going to be a lot better when you have a lot of laps on these tires if you have a softer setup like that one car has. And also Boyer, I think Boyer's car looked really good yesterday as well.
Kurt Busch looks good on track right now, Ralph. What are they saying?
How about 5 positions in 3 laps? Yeah, Kurt Busch is flying right now. That 22 is really coming up through the field pretty strong. Started 11th, already up to 6th. He said the cart's a little tight in all areas, but Wally, I got to believe that's exactly what you would want right now to help with that forward bite.
Yeah, and that's what it's going to be all about here, Ralph, is that getting off these corners. And now we see the 11 got by Jamie McMurray right there.
Yeah, and I think the 11 got position and Jamie just led him. And here we are, you know, four laps into the race. these guys are just trying to still fill out their stuff. And I think it goes back to what you said. You talk about Jamie's setup appearing to be a little bit softer, to be a long run setup. Maybe it's not a short run setup.
Two things that help, certainly. Confidence and track time. Joey Logano ran the K&N Pro Series West race yesterday and won. He starts on the pole. I mean, all those things put together, the track time and certainly the confidence he's gained have got to help.
Yeah, that helps a ton. I don't know what the 22's got, but he's picking up a position about every lap or two.
Yeah, I think confidence,
I don't know if it's confidence.
Not a problem
yeah,
right there.
Not a problem for him right now. Not a problem for Kurt Busch.
And you and I talked yesterday about Kurt and the fact that there is a certain mentality you have to bring to a road course if you're going to be successful. No doubt about it. He's got it.
Yeah, he does. And let's be honest. Let's go back to qualifying the other day. He was the fastest car in practice before qualifying. And he was the fastest car until he got to turn 4, then missed turn 4 and tried to make it all up in turn 3 and then lost everything. But he had been the fastest car at the racetrack, and that's still been a top 2 or 3 car almost every practice.
See Greg Biffle on track, David Gilliland right behind him. Matt Kenseth tucked into line, looking good early. Started back in the 33rd position, but he has worked his way up near the top 25 in the early laps. We should point out sometimes we talk in races about big movers, and it's guys that are up 10, 12, 15 positions. You don't see that as much at a place like Sonoma, especially early in the race, just because it's so hard to make big gains here.
Yeah, if you can pass 7 or 8 cars, you're a big mover on a road course at this place.
Talk about guys moving forward. One car going in the wrong direction. It's Brian Vickers, Ralph.
Yeah, the quote was, so loose, I can't keep the car beneath me. And Kyle, that means that thing is just slipping and sliding every direction but straight, which is not what he needs to happen here on a road course today. Just can't keep the thing moving forward.
No, and it's not. I mean, you know, when you've got a car that you can't pick up the gas and you're just buzzing the rear tires, and we're 6 laps, so these things started on sticker tires. I can't imagine what that thing's going to be like at 22 laps and at 24 laps. And you've got your hands full. And we talked about this early in the race. This is not the kind of place where you have a lot of pit stops and a lot of places to make adjustments. You have what you have sometimes.
Vickers started 10th today. Great qualifying run, but he's fallen outside the top 20. Joey Logano continues to lead early at Sonoma. Joey Logano started on pole, led the first 5 laps, and then his teammate Denny Hamlin said, I want my turn, and he got the lead in turn 11.
Yeah, Joey left him plenty of room, and I really think that Joey probably saw that he was coming and just probably gave him the spot, because the 11 was definitely a faster car at that point.
And since making the pass for the lead, Denny Hamlin has stretched his advantage to more than 2 seconds. So what are they saying in the 20 camp, Matt?
Back and count down the green. Joey Logano said his biggest concern, like everyone else, is trying to keep enough forward bite on exit as he's getting ready to lose another position now to the 1 car McMurray, and that's what he's fighting. 2 free on exit, and Greg Zipadelli just wants him to settle in. He knew at some point he would get stuck back in traffic, to settle in and run his own pace. And Wally, a big thing he needs to do is get a nice little cushion between himself and McMurray, so that way he doesn't miss his marks.
Well, he's got a little cushion there, Matt. It's just the opposite way right now.
Yeah,
it's not the cushion that Joey wants. You know, Joey, I think you're right. Joey's just lost a little bit of his forward grip. He's lost a little bit. That 22 car is coming. He was wearing the bumper out, Kurt Busch was, on that 1 car, being very patient. I don't mean he was banging on him. He was just being very patient. And when Jamie got around the 20 car, then I think Kurt, he's got to go now.
11th to 3rd for Kurt Busch. Ambrose on the move early as well. Time now to check in on the AT&T Fastest Pit Crew Award. Here's a look at the standings following last week's race at Michigan. Smoke, Menard, Harvick, Gordon looking good in the season standings. And fans, AT&T wants to know what you think. Text the car number for the pit crew you think will average the least amount of time on pit road in today's race to 234-567. AT&T, the nation's fastest mobile broadband network, is getting faster with 4G. And speaking of getting faster,
yeah, it was just a matter of time. I tell you what, the 22, just watching it, he has got really good forward bite in that car. That's what I'm looking at is where he's killing these guys right now, is getting up off the corners.
and his car rotates good.
Yeah.
When you see him right in the middle of the corner in those slow corners like that, he just turned left up under Jamie and had that position coming off of turn 4 to take it over in turn 7.
Just behind these guys, you get Marcus Ambrose, who nearly won this race a year ago, and check him out getting into 7, Wally.
Yeah, and this is a typical thing down there. When you run in that hard, he went in that extra 2 feet that you just, it's difficult to get past there, and you lock up the tire. You know, it's not that big of a deal. He did it right. You don't want to drag that tire too long or you'll flat spot it.
And at the same time, Joey was giving those guys plenty of room and got caught on a dirty racetrack and locked up his tire.
We talked about Kurt Busch, 11th to 2nd. And you got to mention Marcus Ambrose as well. Worked on that car hard yesterday. He started 13th today, actually outside the top 10, and moved his way up to 5th. And you see the guys that are on the move. Andy Pilgrim, Andy Lally also on that list.
And I think what, you know, getting back to what Matt was talking about, I think what Zippy's looking for the 20 is, he's got guys all over his rear bumper right now. And I think what he's trying to do is trying to get in a spot where he's by himself, where he doesn't have that pressure. But he's got guys all over him, and he's losing a lot of spots. And he locks up, and I'll tell you what, he's got too much front brake in that car right now, because just about every time he goes down into a braking zone, he's locking up the front tires. You've got to dial a little bit of rear brake into that car.
What are they saying, Matt?
That's exactly what he just told Greg Zappadelli. I don't know what is going on. I'm barely touching the brakes, and they are locking up at almost every corner.
But now let's be honest here. You know, we talked about this yesterday in the second practice session. Were these guys going to go run 8, 10, 12 laps? No, they didn't. They just went out and run 4 or 5 laps at a time. There were 3 or 4 guys that did. What happens is you don't get your brakes up and they continue to stay in the same place heat-wise. You build them up and they come back down because you come in a couple laps. You build them up and they come back down. So for an extended period of time, when they get hot, they work a little bit different, and he just needs to fine-tune that part right now.
Juan Pablo Montoya lurking just outside the top 10, Chris.
Yeah, Wally said earlier, typically road racers like a stiffer platform, a stiffer car, and that's the direction that one.
But again, you're right. It's really just going to come down to how these cautions fly.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't know about Brad Keselowski, because, you know, he's 19 seconds behind Kurt Busch. In fact, Denny Hamlin is only 3 seconds behind him in the 11. But I think when you've got a car as good as what this 22 is, you can almost do this. I'm looking back up at the S's. Looks like to me, Casey Mears, the 13, may be out of gas, which would be a bad deal for this leader right now, Kurt Busch.
Yeah, it sure does look like he's out of fuel right now. Now he's got a long way to go to coast down to make it to the entrance of pit lane.
Mears a lap down, but he's one of the other drivers that is yet to make a pit stop. He and Joe Nemechek had not come to pit road as of yet. And here comes Kurt Busch to make his stop. It comes at lap 32.
That was a good call, because they saw what was coming.
Sometimes you have to call an audible, Ralph. Here he is.
All he is asked for is a little air pressure adjustment to the front tires. Everything else about the number 22 is good for Kurt Busch. Steve Addington told me this morning, I do think he can do this on 2 stops. I just don't know if it'll play out that way. The changes to the tires are completed, and Kurt Busch is ready to go. Fuel man saying, we're all in, let's go.
And right behind him, his teammate, Marty.
Patiently coming down pit road is the 2-car. Brad Keselowski had him, his team up on the wall waiting for him to hit. This is the lap that they wanted him to hit pit road. Air pressure change definitely on the Blue Deuce. No chassis adjustment scheduled for Keselowski. Like we talked about, they are playing the fuel mileage game. Remember, this is the team that won on fuel mileage a few weeks ago at Kansas. They're waiting on fuel, making sure that fuel cell's packed full, and he's away.
And now Casey Mears limping, trying to get...
He's not going to make it. I mean, even if he makes it, he's going to be stopped in pit lane, so they're going to have to throw the caution on this.
Exactly. I'm surprised he made it as far as he made it. He would have made it farther, but he did the right thing. He got over in the dirt and got over in the grass and got off the racetrack to give the lane to the racers.
Caution's going to be out.
First caution of the day. It comes out at lap 32. Things have cycled through. Denny Hamlin now the race leader. Kurt Busch is 9th. Lap 36 of 110.
Tell you what, if the 22 hangs him out there a little bit and gets that stuff in the... Pretty even right there. I'm shocked how good these guys came through on these first couple of corners.
I'm not sure with Kurt Busch lane mattered. He just had a superior race car there.
Once he rotated through that top of the hill on turn 2, he just drove that short shoot. And Denny probably gave him a little room this early in the race also.
So Kurt Busch grabs the race lead. He pitted under green at lap 32, anticipating the caution that we eventually got. Denny Hamlin running second, last pitted at lap 20. Give you an idea of the varying strategies we're playing out here.
Montoya trying to make a move on Kyle Busch in the 18. In a good spot, going down 11. Oh, that's going to leave a mark. Wow, he stayed off the wall. Oh, he locked it up.
Vickers around.
Vickers locked it up, and he gets into McMurray. Newman spins around.
Dale Jr. got a piece.
And you know what? That really all started with Kurt Busch and with Kyle Busch and Montoya.
We got the local caution, and now we get the full course caution. Yellow out for the second time today.
When you come around that corner and you're back in the pack and you see that dust, you don't know where that car's going. The 18's off in the dust. There's dust. They don't see anything. Everybody begins to check up, and then Vicker gets in a little bit quicker.
Kyle Busch, Montoya racing for 13th here.
Yeah, and Montoya just, you know, he didn't give Kyle a whole lot of room. He bullied him off the racetrack on that deal.
And look at it from this angle. As he's off, think about you being in one of these cars back here behind. You see, but you're coming through there.
But see, I think Vickers just went in way too hot. He was way hot in there. He had no chance of slowing that car down for that corner. Not with that many cars in front of him.
It was Tony Stewart right behind Vickers, and now we ride on board with JPM.
Still out there. Still out there. Still out there all the way.
He's way out there now.
You're all clear.
Vickers just, he had no chance.
Clear, go.
Yeah, I wonder if Tony pushed him into him, though.
Could be, yeah, right
Look
there.
Look at him, he's on him. That's not Vickers, that's Tony Stewart right there.
Looking at that angle, exactly.
Stay left.
No wonder Vickers got
in. No way, yeah.
Come on.
Go green, Denny Hamlin, Kurt Busch on the front row, David Gilliland hanging in. He joins Martin Truex Jr. on row 2.
Green. There, left side, still there.
Kurt Busch shot out of a cannon as he goes into 1.
Yeah, and he needed to, because he needs to look at the groove right there. Very narrow, but these guys are getting through pretty clean.
They have been incredibly patient at that turn at the top of the hill all day long.
It's usually such a big accordion going through there, and that's where you see everybody running into each other. Of course, it's early.
A.J. Allmendinger taking advantage of the slower David Gilliland, and Clint Boyer going to get a piece of the action as we head into turn 4. Boy, this is a great shot, huh?
And you saw Gilliland come from the outside lane all the way over to block that inside lane, so no more cars could freight train him at that point.
Keselowski off in the dirt.
Brad was running inside the top 10. As they come down the hill, he will get knocked outside the top 10 as Marcus Ambrose gets by him. Denny Hamlin sideways for second.
Truex again.
Again this year, man.
In the exact same spot.
The top side. The 43 got into the 11.
Running up front.
Keep coming.
I'm going to lose about 10-15 positions off that deal.
Last year he was mad at Jeff Gordon, and this year he's got 2 guys to be mad at. A.J. Allmendinger and Denny Hamlin going at it, and it's Truex who pays the price. He was running inside the top 5, and when they came across the start-finish line, Truex 22nd.
Yeah, it looks like the 43 obviously got into the 11 car. Got into Truex. Take a look at this is a good angle here, and I think Denny just slowed up a little bit more than the 43 was anticipating.
And Typical chain reaction. I mean, we've seen it like 2 starts in a row. We've seen that.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, he's going to lose a lot of spots.
Yeah.
And look at this. I mean, Kurt Busch is
in a league of his own right now.
Just got the restart, and his advantage is already 2.3 seconds to second place A.J. Allmendinger. And, you know, Clint Bowyer, a guy that isn't known for road course racing, but his results have been good, and he's going to go to second place right here on the inside of Allmendinger in turn 11.
Yeah, Boyer's one of those cars that looked really, really good yesterday in practice, and you know, Clint's just steady around this place. He doesn't really claim to be much of a road racer, but he's got some great finishes here.
He has great finishes here, and you talk to him about Watkins Glen, and he's like, I don't even know how to get around that place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Truex did have to make a pit stop after that spin, likely flat spotting his tires. He's still on the lead lap, but scored back in the 35th position. And now we answer the KFC trivia quiz. The question: who is the only driver in NASCAR history to score his first career win right here at Infineon? This in Sprint Cup Series competition. The answer: Wally, you got it during the break. How about 4 years ago? Juan Pablo Montoya getting it done right here. He had some issues early in this race, but he's back where he needs to be, inside the top 10, running 8th right now. For Jamie McMurray fans who are excited about him starting up front today, he got in that skirmish on our last caution. He's now 24th, still on the lead lap. Dale Earnhardt Jr. got a piece of that action. He's now 27th. Brian Vickers is 29th. And today's Goodyear Superior Performer.
Wow, Hamlin in 43 again.
Going to be Tony Stewart.
And Tony got a great run up off of 10. You saw Tony make that run and get around Montoya right there.
Tony Stewart, for good reason, our Goodyear Superior Performer. He's running 8th today, and he's a 2-time winner here at Infineon. 7 wins all time in road course competition. Here are 2 fun guys to watch go at it. You got Tony Stewart you're riding on board with in 8th, and right behind him Montoya, who he just got around. These are 2 guys that understand what it takes in a place like this.
And Stewart's car right now looks like it's got a lot of rear grip. The thing's getting off the corners really well.
The back bumper beat up for Tony Stewart. He was using the front bumper a while ago when he got Brian Vickers.
Trying to diving in. Barely clear. Good job.
Denny Hamlin's now slid back to 6th. He led a couple of laps early today. In fact, 12 circuits after he went by his teammate Joey Logano, who started on the pole. And to give you an update on our pole sitter, Logano is stabilized back in the 13th position. This is a great battle from 6th on back.
Yeah, I think
we're going to make that one work.
No, that was not going to work for Tony, but he's got a good run right here. Denny got off that corner bad, which made the 4 car, Casey Kane, have to check up, and Tony wanted that position bad.
And you can see, obviously, he's a left foot breaker. Those pedals are really far away from each other. Than normal, because if you are a left foot breaker, you can move that pedal way over. It's a lot more comfortable driving with your feet straight.
It's a lot more comfortable when you're just driving with 2 pedals. All he has to worry about is gas, brake, gas, and brake. When you drove and you learned to heel and toe, everything was right on top of each other.
He's just laying that throttle down easy, trying not to buzz the rear tires, getting off the corners.
These 3 guys running together, Kane, Montoya, Kyle Busch, have won 3 of the last 4 races here. Kane got it done in 09, Montoya in 07, and the man who won here in 2008, Kyle Busch, who right now has scored 10th.
Kyle Busch taking a look underneath Montoya. That's a tough pass, trying to outbrake Montoya.
Yes. Montoya, his car must not be working too well.
Kurt Busch looking good. A 1-second lead over Clint Bowyer, Jimmy Johnson, David Gilliland, Denny Hamlin, the top 5. Closing on halfway in the Toyota Safe Mart 350 at Infineon Raceway in Sonoma, California. Under caution for the third time today. Had some debris over toward the entrance of pit road, and so NASCAR has put the caution out. And when the caution came out, look, Dale Jr., it's hot in that race car. He came to pit road, all kinds of issues. He was involved in our second caution, and you can see the 88.
Busch in the 18 did not get going that time. Boyer's going to try to run it up, stay up beside him, and if he does, he's got the corner if he doesn't blow across in front of him.
Clint Bowyer getting it done, diving in front of Kurt Busch.
Very impressive there. That was pretty strong.
That was a strong move by the 33 car Bowyer. That's a muscle move. He just muscled around him.
Well, you've been singing his praises all weekend long, and he's on point for the first time today. Fourth different leader we have seen in the race. Wow, Stewart went wide there in 4. Welcome back to the party. Jamie McMurray involved in that accident where he got turned around. He's back inside the top 10. Haven't talked a lot about the point leader, Carl Edwards, today. Of course, this weekend, he was scheduled to come here and run, practice and qualify the Cup car on Friday, then head to Road America and run in the Nationwide Series yesterday. Car wasn't good on Friday. He said, I'm staying. I'm not going to race. Billy Johnson got behind the wheel of the Nationwide car yesterday for Jack Roush up at Road America. Carl's work paying dividends, although he gets kicked sideways here. Edwards running 9th right now. Marty?
Dale Earnhardt Jr. was sitting on pit road with the hood up for a while. What happened?
Oh, we was just out there running around, and we made the car better, but right to the first stop and had a big old mess getting into 11, and we jumped in there and got part of it and banged up the nose a little bit, and I think we knocked a hole in the radiator and ended up hurting the engine a little bit. So I think the engine's done. So it's got a hole in the side of it anyways. Normally never good.
Usually a hole in the side of the engine is not good. We'll see you in Daytona. Adam.
And disappointment for Dale Jr., who had completed all but 8 laps this season prior to what you will see today. Kyle Busch going at it with Matt Kenseth there.
I think the spot Truex is trying to take advantage of it.
Poor Truex the last couple of years has just gotten used up out at this place.
Yeah. But it's amazing to me how quickly things change. You got McMurray and Truex both running in the top 10 that were involved in accidents that were not their fault at all. Patient a little bit, and all of a sudden it cycled through, and they're both inside the top 10. Here's Kurt Busch to the inside of Clint Bowyer. That for the race lead at lap 51.
I don't think anybody's got anything for that 22 right now.
They haven't shown it as of yet. We're 52 laps into the race and nobody's shown it. But you know, what happens is sometimes when you look at those guys, like the 1 car and the 56 car, they've been in accidents and it's cycled the way it's cycled because other guys are on a different pit strategy. Other guys are doing stuff. So they look good right now and then they may disappear at the end of the race. How many times have we looked at the rundown when this race is over and said, I didn't talk about that guy all day long.
Yeah.
And there all of a sudden he finishes 4th.
See Martin Truex Jr. on the move. Inside of Matt Kenseth, he gets the position, and behind Kenseth now is teammate Carl Edwards, who's thinking about making something happen.
Well, Edwards almost got into the back of the 17 car right there.
Truex at one time running back in the 37th position, because not only did he spin in turn 11, if you remember, he had to make a pit stop. That stop coming at lap 43, and now he's rallied back to the front.
Oh, Joy giving Robbie Gordon a little shot right there. I think those guys got into it going to 7. You see the 11 car. We talk about coming back through the field. 11 car is just mired back here.
He restarted back around 20th position. So Larry, we're 52 laps into this thing, closing on halfway.
This ain't over yet. Hang on a second.
Look at that. Joey Logano sending Robbie Gordon for a ride.
And like Kyle pointed out, this started way back there, you know, about a half a lap ago. And I think Robbie roughed up Logano when he went by, and Logano just said, no, I'm kind of getting tired of it.
See if Robbie's waiting for traffic to clear before he pulls away, and I don't know if he's going to pull away or not. Yep, he's going to pull away. No caution as of now.
Yeah,
orange and orange.
Right, and you see Logano's behind Robbie right here.
This looks like a Tennessee inter-squad football game, and the teammates don't agree on this one.
And you'll see Robbie go down and make a huge, block here on Joey. Now, this wasn't where it started. This was just this incident right here. This incident right here.
It started
back in 7.
It started back in 7 on this lap. Joey just didn't let it develop any farther. He's like, I'm taking care of it now. And you got to give him tip of the hat to Joey there for it. I mean, all he did was push him down in the corner.
Joey, the pole sitter today, running 14th, right behind his teammate Denny Hamlin, who's made nice progress since that last caution when he made a pit stop. So, Larry, now here we are, just about lap 55, so right at the midway point of the race. What observations do you have in regard to strategy?
Well, when I look at Kurt Busch, our leader right now, and his teammate Brad Keselowski running in the 6th in the 2 car, they've been out there the longest. They have not been on pit road since lap 32. It's already been well documented. They plan on making this a 2-stop race. But honestly, when I look at drivers like Tony Stewart, Clint Boyer, Jimmy Johnson, Kyle Busch, they were on pit road at lap 34. As long as those drivers can go about 38 laps on fuel, I think with the 3 cautions we've had, everyone is on a 1-stop race to finish this race off.
And Larry, how much of that for guys like Boyer, Johnson, and Kyle Busch, is their hand been forced by the Penske guys in the strategy that they've decided to play today?
Well, I think that's playing a role in it, but I think that the timing of these cautions has played a role in it too, because honestly, when you look at those guys, they've already made 2 pit stops because they made one earlier under green, and then they all were on pit road during that 2nd caution.
Kurt Busch continues to dominate this race. 1.3 seconds his advantage. But now the man running behind him, not Clint Boyer, Tony Stewart, who knows what it takes to get it done on a road course. Now the runner-up. 55 laps complete. We're right at halfway. You're watching NASCAR on TNT.
Doesn't take him out by any means, because it just depends on what happens later on. But it takes him off the leader strategy, yes.
Lap 56 is when he made that pit stop. He was running 5th, now 35th for Jamie McMurray. Bobby Labonte having some issues of his own coming down the hill to turn 4.
Yeah, I believe this is going to just try to avoid Rudeman there on the outside.
A couple of Toyotas dancing together. Now we go back to the front. Told you when we came back, Kurt Busch's lead was down under a second as Martin Truex Jr. picks up another spot. You get the sense this kid's motivated after what happened here a year ago.
Yeah, he's just hoping he doesn't get run into anymore today.
Spin in the early stages of this race, Truex was running 37th, and now he finds himself inside the top 5 and on a pretty good strategy. They pitted at lap 43. They can do this on one more stop. And you can't talk about Martin Truex Jr. at Infineon without talking about Jeff Gordon. He's our Pizza Hut fan favorite driver. Gordon's won here 5 times, and he's struggling here today. And as we see Gordon on track, look at Bobby Labonte.
Caution's out, turn 11.
Yeah, I don't know. He's got into something incredibly hard with the front of that thing. It was dropping fluid all the way down the front stretch.
4th caution of the day for this, racing with Michael McDowell here off 11.
He just gets turned.
Wow.
Yeah,
I guess.
Wow. Yeah.
Lap 64 going to be complete when we go green. Kurt Busch, Tony Stewart, Clint Boyer, Martin Truex Jr., Jimmy Johnson, the top 5, and there's Kyle Busch alongside Jimmy for the restart in the 6th position.
And now that I see why he did it, it's not surprising, because all the speedy drives down on the inside.
Yeah.
It hasn't really mattered where he restarted. And I'll tell you who's not been affected by much lately, Martin Truex Jr. Man, he's been good. You got Kyle Busch sliding into 4th, and haven't heard much from Joey Logano, his teammate, the pole sitter today, but he's back inside the top 15, scored 12th. Kurt Busch leading. He's led 46 laps today, Ralph. I'm assuming he's happy.
Yeah, he is. They're looking at going all the way to about lap 71 before they pit. Here's what he's saying about how the car is handling at this stage of the race.
Right now, the car hasn't been as good. Seems a little loose with the air pressure out of the fronts on some of the faster corners. It also seems like it's hitting a bump stop harder up front, making us tight in turn 1. I'd say it's better than most.
I would definitely say it's better than most.
I'd say it's better than most.
Here we go again. 43 around, and the 17 goes around.
And this is where, when you're at the 17, you can't move. You just have to sit there.
Few more coming. Go ahead. Call clear.
Matt Kenseth had moved from 33rd and was knocking on the door of the top 10. And now Farmers Insurance Blimp giving us this view.
Looks like Keselowski got into the 43 and the 17 of Kenseth. He just turned it down to avoid Allmendinger and spun it out. But you're right. When you're in that spot, you got to wait till everybody goes by until you can get it going again.
Because how many times have we seen a car pull out in front of somebody and just get wiped out? You see the 17 right there to the left, turn down across. He might have got hit by the 20 car right there. He might have cut down across the hood of Joey Logano from that angle. If you see the way his car kind of takes off. You see Logano's car right here in front of us, and you see, yeah, he got hit right in the left rear and just spun him around. And Joy, the track's blocked. Track's blocked. I'm not defending Joy, but
this is on board with Marcus Ambrose.
Right in front of you, stay low. Stay low. Come on, Sammy.
Right now, and you know, somebody's kind of laid in the weeds all day. How about the 9 of Marcus Ambrose? TNT tonight, the team is back. Leverage returns with a new season of Bigger Cons. Don't miss the season premiere tonight, 9/8 Central on TNT. Right now, it's all NASCAR, and here's the leader, Ralph.
Just air pressure adjustments. That's all they're going to do to the car. You heard him say it was coming down a little harder on the bump stops. They asked him earlier to save fuel. He said, "You'd be very proud of me. This should be all they need to get them to the finish here." Chris Williams working the gas can. There we go. They packed it all in, and he's away.
Lap 72. Circle that one, because if everything goes as planned, it will likely be the final pit stop for Kurt Busch. Matt Kenseth coming your way, Ralph.
Yep, he's in as well. Looking for this to be his final stop. Kenseth is in. They're going to work packing the fuel in. Coming around for the left side tires. No major adjustments to the car, and he's going to be down and away here in a minute.
I want to make sure and confirm for Denny Hamlin fans, he has repaired his issues in the garage. He is back on track. 39th is where he has scored, 10 laps behind the race leader, who is now Tony Stewart, 1.1 seconds in front of Martin Truex Jr., Kyle Busch, Marcus Ambrose, and Juan Pablo Montoya into the top 5, and the leaderboard going to change again, because at lap 72, Truex gives up the runner-up spot, and he will make his pit stop. The last time he came in, lap 43.
That
Marty?
surprises me, because he had the freshest tires.
Yeah, and I talked to Chad Johnston, his crew chief, about that, Wally. I said, now you can stay out until lap 81. Are you going to do that or pit with everybody else? And he said, no, we're going to pit with everybody else. I don't want to get out of sequence in some way where we're put in a bad position, so they're going to get the fresh tires here. Truex said, if you give me a little more forward bite, I can win this race, Matt.
Richie Paul working his game plan, keeping with it, waiting for Brad Keselowski to hit his pit box. 3 boxes away. There is cosmetic damage in the left front corner. He says the car has absolutely gone away handling-wise. It's just not very good at all. Even when he tries to hit his marks, not good. You can see how the hood is bowed up and the damage right in front of the tires. Air pressure change for Keselowski. Trying a little pull tug here. He's full of fuel, and he's away.
Just behind, you see Robbie Gordon making a stop. David Rudiman in for his scheduled service under green as well. All these stops coming with 37 laps to go.
You know, if you look at Truex's strategy was, let's have a strategy to get in the top 5, and then let's jump on their strategy.
Right.
And that appears to be what they've done.
Yeah.
They worked a strategy to get them up and get them in clean air, or get them in a place where they felt like they could race for the win. Now they want to do it head-to-head.
Last year, the talk of the weekend, not just race day, the whole weekend, about Marcos Ambrose. And as he completes another lap, let's go back to pit road. Kyle Busch in, Marty.
Yeah, and he has had zero complaints about this race car the last 2 runs. So there'll be no changes this time for Kyle Busch, but the fresh tires, that's what they need. And the run to the end, a little bit too tight. That's about it. Chris.
Clint Boyer last pitted on lap 33, so they really stretched it on this one. He said these last couple laps, the car really gave up a ton of grip. But other than that, the car's been good. Lots of good grip. Matt.
And A.J. Allmendinger said he absolutely killed the rear tires when he had that spin. Cosmetic damage to the left front corner of his car as well. He said we need a big adjustment on the car. This time they were waiting. He was begging to hit pit road, but they were waiting until their window opened, sticking with their game plan here on the 43. Significant wedge adjustment for Allmendinger.
Lap 74, the number on the board when A.J. Allmendinger came to pit road and made his stop. Tony Stewart continues on track. Told you Marcus Ambrose now up behind him in the 2nd position. Stewart last pitted at 34, and now he gives up the top spot to come in. This stop going to come at lap 75. 35 laps remaining as Stewart comes in. Again, all these stops scheduled and under green flag conditions, and Marcus Ambrose is coming in as well, Marty.
Marcos Ambrose said to his guys a moment ago, he said it's much better at the end of this run than it was at the beginning of this run. So keep the car like this, like it is right now. 4 tires, it'll be a slight air pressure adjustment. That's it to make it better at the beginning of the run. Adam mentioned a moment ago, they have gotten very good at the end of this race. Tony Stewart has said nothing about his race car. Remember, they're better on the longer run. This will play into their favor, Ralph.
Chassis adjustment on the right rear for Casey Kane. They tried to set their fuel stop so that they could get in and out without being boxed in by Greg Biffle. It worked just fine. He's away.
And 14, lots of spot there on pit lane, but they waited to get every last drop of fuel they could in that 14 car.
Yeah, they're one that got fuel. One of the ones that pitted a minute. It's going to hit me here in a minute. I'm a little. I'm not sure they got his car. I'm not sure they got Kurt Busch's car. Was it Kurt that came in? No. Yes. I'm not sure they got. That was a very fast pit stop.
Yeah, we'll wait and see, because there are always reports after a cycle of stops of guys that maybe didn't get it full. And one driver we can confirm that had problems, not a fueling issue, but too many men over the wall for David Reagan. And as we see that, we look down at pit road, and he is making his pass-through penalty now.
Back in 2008, David finished 2nd here at Infineon. And right behind him, I got to believe there's a big smile on David Rudiman's face, because if anybody dreads road course racing more than David Rudiman, I don't know who it would possibly be. He's sitting up there right now running in the 18th position. He may get a top 15 finish out of this. I promise you he'll feel just as good as the guy that wins this race.
Got a new race leader, Regan Smith, able to drive around Kevin Harvick as we went through the field. He won at Darlington earlier this year. He has to make another pit stop, but it's got to feel good anytime you're out front, especially on a gorgeous day like this.
Do that up, show
Right.
I'm back at Infineon Raceway, and yes, that is a live picture.
You know, payback sometimes. Well, a lot of times it happens around this place. Tony Stewart just got paid back for what he did earlier to Brian Vickers. And that's the result.
Yeah. 6th caution of the day. And that is an interesting position. Here is the replay coming into turn 11.
I'm not sure.
Those are the guys just in front of him.
Yeah, there's Vickers. Already made contact with Stewart.
Vickers had worked his way into the top 5. Had to make another pit stop anyway. So the attitude kind of, what the heck, I'll let him go and then pay it off.
And I can guarantee you that
all clear.
All Vickers has been thinking about since he got turned by Stewart was getting in a position to do this.
Looking for him. Where's that 14?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember when Vickers got turned around earlier, Ryan Pemberton, his crew chief, was giving him the play-by-play of what happened. Vickers said, I know, I felt it.
Yeah, this is early. Okay, no, this is just now.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Vickers comes from the left side of the racetrack, or from on your screen comes from the right side of the racetrack across to run in the back of Tony.
Now, this is what happened earlier in the race. It's a run board with Stewart. That's Vickers up ahead. They're going down to 11. Stewart just leans on him and keeps leaning and just pushed Vickers into the tires down there.
And you know what, really, and Tony, and we've seen this twice.
Busch and Martin Truex Jr. 19 laps to go, and they're trying to sort out the running order back behind the leaders. We go green, and Kurt Busch once again lays it on him on the restart.
And they're going to have to start doing a little bit better job on the restarts as far as if they're going to stay with Kurt. Because Kurt has just been smoking them on these restarts today. He puts 10-12 car lengths on them before they get to turn 7.
Here we got Casey Kane making a move for second here. Oh. Truex just got off. Truex was trying to give Casey a little bit of extra room and just got off the racetrack.
From second to sixth for Truex on that exchange.
Yeah, this is the part where you start knocking into, as we see back there, guys are knocking into each other. I mean, this is the time of the race where you see down here at turn 4 and turn 6 or 7.
Boris said Jeff Burton troubles in turn 4. Not the first time we've seen that today.
No, and these guys will get going. They were both off the racetrack. You didn't see a lot of debris on the racetrack, so it shouldn't be a caution for these two. But this is the kind of stuff we see late in the race. Up in turn 4, up in turn 7, up on that end of the racetrack.
Everything's hot, slippery.
And NASCAR doesn't throw a caution. They let them keep racing, thinking those guys will do exactly what those guys just did, fire up and keep going.
Talked about Casey Kane. He's been impressive today, running second. Top 5 here the last 2 years. He's going to lose a position. Yeah, Carl Edwards.
That's another guy we haven't really
started outside the top 20, and here he is trying to get the runner-up position.
Don't want to get too far out there.
What about that 99, Marty?
What an impressive day for this bunch. When I talked to Bob Osborne this morning, he said, we are flat playing the fuel mileage game. We have no shot to win it on speed. Our only hope, fuel mileage, track position, and they parlayed it. Look at him passing for second, guys.
And let's not
the hard
forget,
way, too, on the outside going through that left-hander. That's a very, very difficult pass to make.
Yeah.
Yesterday, his schedule to leave here and go up to Wisconsin and run the nationwide race.
Truex is in there hot.
I think Truex is hot right now after what happened on that restart.
And he just gave somebody a little bit extra room. I mean, he was trying to be, I think honestly on that one, the 4 car didn't knock him off the racetrack as much as Truex just ran out of room.
Talk about guys we got to give a nod to. Brad Keselowski running 4th right now.
Brad has done a tremendous job today from the very beginning of the race. I think we saw, you've seen a couple of different strategies and stuff. He's been up, he's been back, he's been up, but he stayed on the racetrack. And you don't see a lot of beating and banging going on with Brad. He's just been driving a really clean, straight race.
And the 34 Gillen hanging tough up there in 7th spot right now.
Cue him up. Here comes Keselowski to the inside of Kane in turn 11. That's the battle for 3rd. Give the spot to the Blue Deuce.
That's a good move, man. He got down in there and that thing wiggled a little bit. And he rolled up off the brake and let it free itself up.
We talked about Carl Edwards and not going to Wisconsin. Brad Keselowski last year running full-time for the Nationwide Championship did make the commute to Elkhart Lake. And that really hurt him here. The track time that he didn't get last season, he finished outside the top 30 in his Sonoma debut. He's been here all weekend this year, and I think it's paying dividends today because he's running 3rd with 17 to go.
And when they interviewed him yesterday afternoon after practice, he said he had worked really, really hard and focused on becoming a road racer and being his road race program. And I'm going to tell you what, he is doing a tremendous job.
Hey, where he's sitting in points right now, you've got every race counts on this deal, because if he could win a second race, that gives him 2 wins. He gets in the top 20. You're looking at the chase.
Yeah.
So all these races are really important.
Yeah,
right
they're
now.
big for him for that reason too. And then you look at the 24 car. If the 24 car wins another race, he's in automatically because of that. But my man here, the 2 car, still has to get in the top 20 no matter what. So if the 24 moves forward, let's just say he moves into the top 10. Brad's the next guy in line. Right. It just drags Brad forward, but he has to be in the top 20.
And he keeps running like this. He's not going to have any trouble being in the top 20.
And how about this? Juan Pablo Montoya, one of those drivers that pitted under caution at lap 88. He's the top runner of that group now, up to 7.
All clear.
Yeah, Montoya's making some ground up right now.
Right behind him, David Gilliland. Now, Gilliland did not pit in that last cycle. His last stop coming under green at lap 78. Two road course experts right here. Montoya following Jeff Gordon.
And Montoya won't have a lot of patience right now at this point in the race. I mean, he's got a faster car than these guys. He's got to get something. He's got to make something happen pretty quick. You'll see him try to outbrake Gordon down here into turn 7.
Montoya inside of Gordon here, and he grabs the spot. And he's going to go after Kane as well. And keep in mind, Montoya, much fresher tires than these guys he's racing with.
Trouble. Somebody's around there. I can't tell who it is.
That's going to be Dave Blaney who turned it around in turn 7.
Well, any good that he had on the tires, he just left over there in turn 7. Looks like he may have got some help from Ambrose right there. Just stayed in the gas.
Marcus Ambrose 13th right now. He was a part of that group that pitted back at lap 88. Kurt Busch, the race leader. His advantage 3.3 seconds over second place Carl Edwards, Brad Keselowski, Martin Truex Jr., Casey Kane, the top 5. With you on 4th of July weekend.
We may even get a chance to say a few things during that telecast.
Yeah, we might get a chance to talk. I don't know if we will.
Hogging all the airtime.
Hopefully they'll bring some Coke Zero up for us, so that'll give us a little bit extra incentive to do some stuff. But I'm not sure, man. Have you talked this whole race?
I'm going to tell you what.
He has.
If you guys aren't careful, I'm going to get out the duct tape here. You know what I'm saying? We'll start early. You can feel the love. On track and up here, too. Saw the numbers on Kurt Busch leading 65 laps. When you look at the history of this race, this is that stage when you might see a caution if you look at history.
That's really going to make it interesting because of the different tires that everybody is on right now. I don't think Kurt Busch wants to see a caution right now.
Ralph?
Well, you can see the guys working on Tony Stewart's car. Obviously, Brian Vickers is already back into the race. Both crews have worked feverishly to get these cars ready. Vickers already out. Stewart's car just about ready to go. Neither driver felt like talking. I got a funny feeling, guys, that we might have a Matador in a 14 looking for a Bull in an 83, if you know what I mean.
This is going to be good. If we can get the hat trick, we've already got 2.
Right.
All we need is this last one. We just need this last one. Let's go for the hat trick.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Montoya, Truex. Montoya's on a mission.
And the elbows definitely have sharpened late in the race for driver 42.
And I think Truex has had enough of being banged around at this place. So I would give him a lot of room if I was the 42 right now.
Truex running 5th, Montoya in the 6th position.
Hey, what Truex's car looks pretty good through this section. And you can see he pulled away from Montoya, although he had fresher tires and looks like 0 Rudiman went around, but he's back in the right direction. He may have gotten some help looking at that right rear.
Could have got some help. That's up there coming at the top of the hill where guys get into each other sometimes. Yeah, Jamie got down on the curb. You saw they wheel hopped right there. Oh,
he got him all right.
I'd like to see that again.
Yeah, I think they got together.
Yeah, I think Rudiman was kind of moving in that direction too.
McMurray is 18th now. It's been a roller coaster day for him. There you see Casey Kane trying to rally back from that spin that he had. He's 23rd.
And we go back to McMurray. McMurray was on schedule to be in exactly the same place that the 22 car is on the racetrack. And they had a cut tire. Remember when they had their cut tire? Once they had their cut tire, that got them in a totally different place.
I wonder if he's looking for something.
Do you know anybody in TV that we could ISO this?
I think we need to keep a camera on this.
That is not the new look aerodynamic package at Stewart-Haas Racing.
72 Gremlin or the 2013.
And that thing looks like it's going down the straightaway sideways.
Yeah, because he struggled when he got in that corner.
Look at that.
Look how crooked that thing is. Even when he got down to that corner, he had to slow down.
Not sure he's going to be able to maintain a competitive speed.
Yeah, watching him right here, it depends on where he's going to go. He's
waiting.
Yeah, he's waiting.
He's just waiting.
And
he's waiting for a safe place to pull into or someone into.
But this is, that's incredibly courteous.
Yeah.
He could go and stuff it down in the corner and make these guys run around him on the outside. I think he's figured now that he's got up there, he's not in the best place to be in this car.
You don't think he's really thinking anything else at this point? Really?
I was just trying to.
Are you really thinking that he's just being courteous at this point?
This is TNT. I'm building some drama, dude.
You know, let's build it the right way. I believe. Where's Red Bull car now?
Should be coming at any moment.
683 is one on the tail.
Here goes Juan Montoya again. He has really used those fresher tires. Gotten around a number of cars and working on Keselowski. And we did get a report that Tony Stewart let Vickers go.
Well, we were trying.
Yeah, we were trying for a hat trick.
But I'm looking at this. Stewart is 15 laps down. Hamlin 11 down in front of him. You know, positions mean a lot these days when you look at
just
points.
making some moves out there right now. And again, he's on better tires than all these guys.
Brad Keselowski got him.
I was getting ready to say, you mess with Brad, you messing with the wrong person.
Kyle Busch went around as well.
You messing with the wrong person.
Trying to get it going here.
You know what?
Help him get on track.
That 42 had worn the bumper out and tried every shot that he could when there wasn't a shot there. Once again, Juan stuffed it up in that corner where it wasn't a place. Brad gave him a little room, but Brad wasn't taking it that time. Oh, that thing's a little free.
Yeah, he's got a flat tire, I believe.
See? Brad gives him room.
Here, yeah.
Then the 42 forces him off the racetrack. 42 runs over that way.
Yeah.
Just enough, and Brad didn't appreciate that because Brad had given him room.
Yeah.
And Brad's like, tough. See you later.
And you know,
and I'm not saying that's right. I'm not saying that's right. But
I am.
What I'm saying is, there's how many laps to go? 7?
Yeah.
It's.
But when you give somebody room and they mess with you,
yeah, you expect them to stay off.
Boy, there's nothing that makes you more mad as a driver. When you give somebody room, they take it back. It's like, you know, all right, I'm going to give you some race room. And they come over and squeeze you. Forget it.
You know, we've seen some attitude out of some guys today that you don't normally see it out of. Brian Vickers, a little payback on Tony Stewart. We just saw Brad Keselowski getting physical.
I'm not sure this is done yet.
Montoya back in 12th. Marcus Ambrose through that whole cycle jumped up to 6th, and Clint Boyer now in the top 5 running in the 5th position.
These two cars, I'm going to tell you what, the tires on this 34 are gone.
Yeah, and he is driving a good race.
He is driving a great race. He is just hanging on.
And he's a sitting duck right here,
and probably. Juan had so much stuff on his tires from where he got spun, he just couldn't get it wore down. Wow.
Tony Stewart has now called it a day. He's gone to the Sprint Cup Series garage.
These guys are out of tires, they're out of brakes, they're out of patience at this point.
This mess right here from 11th on back.
Oh, this is good. You cannot go side by side through here.
Not through this area.
These guys are really racing hard. I mean, this is great racing for back around what? We're talking 11th, 12th, 13th spot right here.
Yeah, we are. We're talking 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th with Allmendinger.
Now we get down the hairpin. We're going to obviously we're going to see some people pulling out and try to outbrake and probably run into each other.
6 to go. Okay, here's the thing: tires worn out, brakes worn out, patience worn out, bumpers worn out. Everything's worn out at this point in time.
Kyle Busch, he's got that on the line. He's got a great position and just a little love tap on the exit. Wow, here comes David with him. David is driving right now, man.
He just keeps fighting back. He is driving the wheels off this thing today.
And evidently,
wow, look at all these guys down. You got Allmendinger, Smith is back there, Newman's in there now.
Those are some good cars that David is just out driving and holding off right here.
I mean, this looks like the first lap of the race.
Yeah.
All these guys inside the top 15, so there's plenty on the line here. A.J. Allmendinger's had a good day. Regan Smith we've talked about. Paul Menard. Man, he popped Ryan Newman. Good save by the 39.
Good save by both those guys.
There's Mark Martin. Haven't talked about him a lot today.
Mark may have the only car with no scratch on it.
Definitely.
I mean, after looking at this.
Absolutely.
He's back in 21st, so it's not been the day that he would have liked.
Those cars almost look like they run up over each other's tires the way they got up in the air a little bit.
All this has been going on back outside the top 10. Kurt Busch has got a lead now, 3.5 seconds at the front over Carl Edwards. And Jeff Gordon is now in the 3rd position. You talk about Mark Martin looking clean. How about this race car? Looks like they just rolled it off the truck. Kurt Busch, no issues at all. 4 laps to go. He has paced himself nicely.
Again, these guys are evidently going
at the back end of Paul Menard and Ryan Newman.
You see, Ryan's trying to block. And the 27 is there, but he's in so hot he can't get it turned. Gets on the brakes, and he slides up into him. Mark hangs the right, goes through the tires, and there's Casey, who's been spun. You know what? When you're Casey Kane and you were the first guy spun, a lot of times it works to your advantage. Because the more people they spin in front of you, the more positions you pick up.
You know, points are going to be a big topic when this race is over, because Kurt Busch could get his first win to make him eligible for the wild card. Then you got Brad Keselowski, who's running a great race. In the 9th position right now, could jump into the top 20, be eligible for the wild card. I mean, Tony Stewart dropping down today with his issues. Denny Hamlin, Dale Jr. having problems.
I think Stewart or Montoya may have finally run off the tires on this thing.
Let's hear from Smoke, Marty.
At times, the top 5 car today, was that anything other than flat payback?
No, I mean, I probably had it coming because I dumped him earlier, but I dumped him because he was blocking. So if anybody wants to block all year, that's what I'm going to keep doing. So they can handle it however they want. But it was payback. But you know, I dumped him first, and I dumped him because he was blocking. So it's just, I've been complaining about the way that guy's been racing all year, and I like Brian. I'm not holding it against him at all. I don't care if it was Ryan Newman. I would have dumped him too. So if they want to block, that's what's going to happen to them every time for the rest of my career.
You and I were talking about this last week. Is the lack of respect more prevalent than ever?
I don't know if it's lack of respect or guys just pushing the envelope on not working with each other. So there wasn't any reason at the point of the race where he started blocking in the first place. So you know, it didn't make sense to do it, and I'm not going to tolerate it. I don't race guys that way, and I'm not going to let anybody race me that way. So if they block, they get dumped. Plain and simple.
Day ends early for Tony Stewart, and he had a top 5 car, Adam.
24 road course starts, never a DNF until today for Tony Stewart.
And I think the 42, like I said, is finally off his tires. But, you know, and hey, I mean, Stewart knew it was coming. I mean, he's not trying to hide the fact that, you know, he figured it was coming. But, you know, it is, you see a lot of blocking going down in the turn 11, because that's the only couple of spots you got to pass here. So people do take advantage of that.
It's so frustrating to run a 1:20 lap and only have one place to pass somebody.
And when you get there, somebody blocks.
Somebody blocks, and you got to wait again. 1:20, and you got to wait again, and it's so incredibly frustrating. But you know what? You got to give Tony credit. He was incredibly candid. Yeah, I dumped him. And yeah, I know he dumped me. And I don't have anything against him. That's just the way it is. I had it coming. And that's the kind of, let me say this, that's the kind of boys have at it that there used to be.
But here's another thing I think in Tony's deal is he's just sending out a message right now.
Yeah.
That, you know, everybody, hey, listen, if you're going to block me, you're going to get wrecked.
And the Ryan Newman reference significant because Tony owns that race car. Here's a good battle for second. Kurt Busch has opened up a huge lead, and he will see the white flag the next time around, but the runner-up spot may not be decided until we come right to the finish. Gordon looking to the inside of Edwards to go to second.
I tell you, for Carl, I don't think, I mean, would have never dreamed he'd be in the top 3 after looking at the practice.
No, and watching that pass, I don't think he would have dreamed he would be in the top 3 either. He just pulled to the outside. He gave Jeff plenty of room. I would have never believed when they dropped the green flag on this race that these two guys would be in the top 3.
Yeah.
These two that we're watching right here. After listening to Jeff
15 laps
Gordon,
ago, like I said, looking back at the monitor, Jeff Gordon was way back in the field.
Yeah, and complaining the whole time about not being able to turn into the corner. And as you said a minute ago, he was one of the fastest cars on the racetrack here towards the end.
And he's about a second faster than Kurt Busch is right now. He just doesn't have the time.
You know, I think this speaks volumes for this. We're on the final lap here. I think this speaks volumes for Carl too. He's focused on winning this championship. He had an opportunity to leave. He decided he would stay and work on this thing. Still didn't get it the way he wanted it, but he's driven it today.
I think he'll be real happy with this.
Yeah, the way a championship driver could drive a car. And he knows this is a big statement to the other guys. If I stick around and stay here, you're going to have to think about it.
Another name you may add to the list of those who are thinking championship, the driver who has been so consistent the last few weeks. Kurt Busch and the program really on the rise at Team Penske.
Incredible. So much was made out of Kurt Busch and things that went on early in the year, things that went on the radio, things that went on within that team. But you can say what you want to. He's passionate about driving a race car. He got those people up off their butt, and here he's getting ready to win.
Checkers this time.
3 poles in a row. Should have had 4.
Kurt Busch a winner at Infineon, first of 2011.
Incredible.
Carl Edwards, big jump today all the way to 3rd.
Boyer in fourth, which I figured he would be a top 5, and Ambrose up there as well. And Logano.
Great run by
sixth,
Logano. Jimmy Truex salvages something, comes back for 8th there. I thought Truex had a great car. And Brad Keselowski finishes in the top 10. Great run for him.
Man, Harvick's car got beat up early, and he comes back to finish in the top 10 as well.
That's the Kevin Harvick.
Guys, unbelievable. Appreciate it.
Never would have believed the first win for Kurt Busch would come this late in the season, and certainly not on a road course, a place he had never won before. But today he pulls it off. The Toyota Save Mark 350 is complete at Infineon Raceway in Sonoma, California. Get out the trophy and give it to Kurt Busch. He's a winner in wine country. For the 23rd time in his career, Kurt Busch celebrating victory in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. 11th race winner in 16 events in 2011. And the 7th straight time we've seen a different winner in this race. Can you say parity and unpredictable? And in the category of giving credit where credit is due, back in 2008 when Kyle Busch swept the road course races, winning here and at Infineon, Steve Addington was his crew chief. Steve calling the shots for Kurt Busch today, who gets the win in the Toyota Save Mark 350. It's a long victory. No issues for Kurt Busch. He's a winner today, Ralph Shaheen.
Yeah, here he comes out of the car. The celebration begins. He's a road course winner. We'll get him to jump down off the car here, and we'll talk to him. He is pumped up. Yes, sir. Well, he's going to get some hugs and kisses here. All right, congratulations on that first road course victory. While everybody else was struggling, you had an incredibly dominant car. How did you do that?
It was an unbelievable setup. I mean, once we got into the groove with this car, it seemed to get better after lap 5 or 6, and my cars have never done that before. So I'm real proud of this Dodge team and everybody from Shell and Pennzoil. I mean, if that doesn't inspire you to go get an SRT8 Dodge Charger, I don't know what is. So that was an awesome handling Dodge. So proud of these guys for really stepping up after what we've been through. And man, we've been on a high these last few weeks.
So many people didn't think you could do a two-stop race here. How'd you pull that off?
We just had to conserve our rear tires. That was the main setup, and that was the main thought. And once we had enough fuel mileage to make it, I started to pick up my pace. And I didn't want guys to think that they had a shot at us, and so I was able to stretch it out. But unbelievable day. The one thing that I've been pushing hard for all year is when we win with this Shell Pennzoil Dodge, 22 cents a gallon off for everybody that has the Shell Saver card on Wednesday. So you got to get a Shell Saver card by Wednesday and save 22 cents a gallon. That's awesome. So thanks to Dodge and Sprint, Coca-Cola. These guys have been great. AAA, Lennox, Discount Tire, Snap-on Tools, a whole group of guys that really help us out.
All right, you crossed off a road course victory today. Can you go get the points-paying plate race next week on Daytona live here on TNT?
Man, that's been big on my list over the years, and I really want to get one of those plate wins. Even though we had a good speed weeks in Daytona, I want to go there and get the big July 4th one. So thanks to the fans. This was an awesome ride today, and that backwards lap brought tears to me. I was choked up because that's something cool that's never been done.
All right, 3 poles, now a win on a road course. He is